May
Oh,
6th.
May 6th.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. My name is Melody McGuire, and I have the pleasure of being here with you. So welcome to the Corona Days Professional Development Group. I am enjoying this, and I know today you're going to also enjoy our speaker for today, who by the name of is Andrea. Andrea is going to be talking about us a journey from a law graduate to a successful career coach and everything in between. And so for those of you who are new to CDPD, let me tell you a little bit about the organization. CDPD works to increase professional access and representation of people of color, people from the LGBTQIA community, and other marginalized groups in industries and employment spaces. CDPD enhances workforce development opportunities through education, resources, and mentorship. CDPD helps marginalized groups make connections with people and resources which help change lives. So again, my name is Melody McGuire, and I'm so glad to be here with you on today. Now, let me go ahead and just share with you CDPD's mission. The mission for CDPD is to increase marginalized and BIPOC groups access to employment opportunities and representation in the workplace by providing members with free training, mentoring, and other resources. CDPD was created in response to record unemployment and underemployment rates stemming from COVID-19 pandemic that started in 2020. Again, I am excited to be here. I am a recipient of services from CDPD and connections that are working for me in my employment venture. So definitely plug into Corona Days Professional Development so that you can learn more about this organization and become involved. Now, in regards to our speaker on tonight, as I stated, her name is Andrea, and she is going to take us on a journey from being a law graduate to a successful career coach and everything in between. Now, on tonight, Andrea has several objectives. She has really 3 learning objectives for us, and I'm going to go over them with you. The first one, why the Great Recession was the best thing to happen to her career. That is interesting. I definitely want to know why she would say that. Now, her second objective is for us to show us how she learned how to network like a pro. And please believe we all need networking opportunities. Now, her third objective for us tonight is to learn how to let go of the shoulds to be successful. Yeah, I'm definitely here and focused to learn and enjoy Andrea's conversation. Now, let me give you just a little bit of background about her. She is the founder and CEO of AYM Consulting, a career coaching business. She shows recent grads, as I stated with you, and how she's going to share with us, but recent grads and young professional women how to launch and land fulfilling careers. With over 10 years of experience, Andrea has a dynamic background in career development. I've also had the pleasure of speaking with Andrea offline too, so I know you're really going to enjoy her tonight. She focuses on human resources, healthcare operations, and project management. Andrea holds a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology from Middle Tennessee State University and a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in communication studies from the University of Florida. Like I told you, she's really going to give us some information on tonight. Last but not least, Andrea is a certified project management through the PMI Institute. So everybody, get your pens together because Andrea is getting ready to take us in. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Hi, Melody. Gosh, it's like intimidating to hear my introduction, you guys.
No, you are completely awesome. I love it.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you to Danette and to you for hosting me, and welcome everyone. It's great to be here with you. I know we can't see you, but I'm really excited to share some nuggets and some useful information for you this evening. And it's going to be pretty informal. I really just want to have a conversation with you. And we will have time for questions at the end. So make sure you write those down so I can answer anything I can for you as we get to that section. So I guess I'm taking it away, Melody. I'm going for it. All right. I guess so. She left the stage. So, all right. Yeah. So like she said, my name is Andrea Jakob-Masick, and I am the CEO and founder of my career coaching business, AIM Consulting. And what she just mentioned is a culmination of almost 14 years of experience. So I was an HR business partner right out of graduate school. Oh, no, sorry. I started off in higher education. What am I saying? I started off in higher education by accident because, like she said, the Great Recession of 2008 was actually the best thing to happen to my career. And I'll go into that in a couple of minutes. But accidentally started off in higher education as a career advisor. And it was the best job. It was so much fun and got to do what I'm doing today, but didn't know I'd be a CEO and founder and a career coach. So I'll talk about that as well. Moved into human resources, which is what my degree was focused in. Then moved on to do a lot of different things. So I've actually pivoted successfully over 5 times in my 14-year career. So from higher education, then I went into healthcare, was an HR business partner, was an operations manager, then did project management, did some training and development before being laid off in 2019, actually almost exactly a year before Corona hit, and started my business. So I will say my entire career has been a series of happy accidents, honestly. It's me following my interest and really pursuing that and identifying how to go forward, really through the power of networking. So we'll talk about that too. But the one thing I really want to point out from the start is me being a CEO, a founder, an entrepreneur of a successful career coaching business is what you see today. I had no idea that is where I was going to end up when I graduated from my undergrad degree, let alone my master's degree. So I'm going to go through that background briefly and share some tips and some takeaways that Melody mentioned in the beginning. So long story short, I started off as a pre-med major when I started my bachelor's degree at the University of Florida back in 2002 is when I started college. And I really was lost from the beginning. I was failing out of my pre-med courses. I failed chemistry. I couldn't complete my statistics course. I was really, really struggling. And my first semester in college, I felt like a complete failure and was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, this is the only path of success that I know is to go to college and then get a job. So really from the beginning of my career in college, I had to really redefine success for myself and know that it wasn't this this cookie cutter version of success that we're told success is. So, we're often taught that success is a certain way, acts a certain way, is a certain job title, but that's definitely not the case. So I had to learn that pretty early on. And through a lot of soul searching and research, I pivoted away for the first time, my first pivot away from the pre-med track, and found industrial organizational psychology, 3 longest words ever, and really did my research and decided I was going to continue my education and get my master's degree in that. So then went on to do my master's degree in that field, and then graduated after a 2-year full-time degree in the recession. It was 2008 during the Great Recession, and I found myself again feeling like a failure and lost from the very beginning. There I was supposed to move to a new city, get a job, start my career. And much like many of you are feeling now with getting laid off or graduating in this time with coronavirus, you felt like you're at a loss. Like, what do I do next? So, and I felt the exact same way in 2008 when I was finishing my master's degree. And again, found myself having to figure out, okay, the version of success I thought I was going to have, which at the time looked like to me stepping into a consulting role at a big firm, traveling and doing that type of work. And that's all I was focused on. And I had to redefine that. There again, I had to redefine success and figure out, okay, based on my education, my experiences, the internships I had, undergrad and graduate school, what could I do now? What was success now going to look like for me? So I really had to expand my options and figure that out. So this is where networking came into play. And I got to explore a lot of different career options. I got to talk to a lot of different professionals, ask them about their path, how did they get to where they were, and really gain insight. So networking is a powerful, powerful tool. You guys, if you follow my content on LinkedIn, you hear me talk about it almost weekly. It is invaluable, and it's really having a conversation. There's a lot of intimidation when it comes to networking, and we get scared. I don't want to talk about myself. How do I reach out to strangers? It is that, but you don't have to start there. So while we're on this topic, I want to give you a couple of tips for this. One, don't start with strangers. There is a higher level of intimidation if you start networking with people you don't know. What you want to do is start with who you do know. And that's what I did when I was graduated in 2008. And I reached out to family, to friends, my professors, my classmates, and asked, what are you doing? What does your family do? What are different career options you can have? So really started to ask people I knew first and practice the art of networking. And then when I got some clarity from those conversations, then I slowly started to branch out and reach out to people who were friends of friends, and then, extended the layers from there. And before, within a couple of months, I was reaching out to total strangers. And really, that's how I networked my way into my first job in higher education. And from there, I just kept networking. But we'll go into that more later. But that was a big takeaway for me as to why the recession was the best thing that happened to my career, because it gave me a chance to really, again, redefine who I was, explore options, explore the fact that both my degrees were not the only option for success that I had. I could go into higher education and not be a doctor or not be a consultant. I could do a lot of different things that I never expected. And I met so many people who had different types of jobs, who looked like me, who didn't look like me, that I just opened up a whole new world of opportunity for me. So that's why I say the Great Recession was the best thing to happen to my career, because it set me down a path that I never would have thought about otherwise. And it's led me ultimately to having a successful business today. So I'd really encourage you all, as you're in this time of transition, as you're looking for what's next, really take the time to be creative and think outside of the box for yourself, and don't let this situation hinder you. Let it be something that you can use to your advantage. So that's why the recession was the best thing that happened to me, and how I really stepped into networking and became an expert at it. And I coach people on that today as well, and the ins and outs of networking and how to do that strategically. And then let me see, where did I leave off, you guys? So I networked my way into my first job right out of graduate school in 2008. And when I say right out of graduate school, that was a 6-month journey. I was unemployed. I ended up moving back home with my parents. I then moved into a studio apartment with my twin sister and lived with her until I figured out what was going to happen. So, there's going to be twists and turns and what you perceive to be setbacks when you're going through change, but it's really setting you up for something good. So that's hard to see sometimes, but that was a huge lesson I learned as well. So that's where I started my career, was 2008 in higher education. And then from there, networked continuously and pivoted my way 4 or 5 more times after that through healthcare. So I was an operations manager. I did project management. I did training and development before moving on to my career now as a coach. I'm a said project manager as a career coach. And then really, I want to share all of these lessons really culminate into 5 key things that I'd like to share with you all. And this really goes into the last objective that Melody introduced about letting go of the shoulds, is because we all should on ourselves when it comes to our career. We have expectations from our parents, from our family, from our friends of what we should be doing. And then we put those shoulds on ourselves. But I want you all to know that you don't have to align with those shoulds. You don't have to pursue them. There's a lot of opportunity out there for you. And I want you to practice letting go of the shoulds and shoulding all over yourself. So 5 key lessons I've learned from 14 years, starting my career in the middle of a Great Recession and just figuring things out as you go. So first and foremost, become an expert in yourself. We spend so much time and energy concerning ourselves with other people's accomplishments, their career, what are they doing? What's their certificate? What's their degree? And we don't really take the time to learn about ourselves. Really take the time to do that. Get the clarity, figure out what you're great at. What are your hard skills, your soft skills, the things that you enjoy, you don't enjoy? What are you curious about? Really become an expert in yourself, because ultimately that makes you a really competitive candidate. Because when you know yourself and what you're bringing to the table, you know how to speak effectively to a potential employer and show them what you can do for them. So that's number one from all of my experience. Become an expert in yourself. Keep becoming an expert. Secondly, networking is my absolutely favorite thing to do. So network, network, network. As I mentioned earlier, it gave me an opportunity to explore. I really help my clients become experts in this as well. And it really gets rid of the fear and those shoulds. But, like, again, we often think we should be doing something, or we're scared to change into a new industry or a new career or explore. And networking is free. First of all, it's completely free for the most part, unless you're attending a paid event, but you can reach out to so many people in your network for free, have conversations, and gain insights that a job description will never teach you or never show you. So networking, 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 do it all the time. Do it before you need it. Number 3 is your career is a mental game. There's going to be changes like a pandemic that are handed to you. There's going to be changes that you choose based on priorities or personal circumstances. You're going to be competitive with people potentially, but going for a job, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to question yourself. So practicing building your own self up. Again, becoming the expert in yourself, knowing what you're great at and really focusing on you and knowing how to support yourself is going to be huge. So really your mindset is going to be key. So developing that sooner rather than later is huge. And if you're mid-career or later in your career, this doesn't mean you can't build this up now and practice the skill set, but your career is a very mentally challenging thing. And so building those muscles to guide you through that is really important. Number 4 is trust yourself. Again, we so often let the opinions and thoughts of other people filter into our decisions of what we want to do, and then we ignore what we really want. This is where the shoulds really come into play again. So really learning to trust your intuition is really important, because you're going to have a lot of opportunity again to make changes for yourself and pursue what you want, and learning to trust yourself in those decisions is really key. And number 5, let go of expectations and timelines. You guys, I am 37 years old. If I had told myself that becoming an entrepreneur in my mid-30s when I started this adventure was not possible because I was too old, or I was too far into my career, I was too this, I was too that, it never would have happened. And my entire career has been a practice of letting go of the timelines of where I thought I needed to be, or where I thought I should be, or where I wanted to be, and just really giving myself permission to let in the information and the circumstances that were happening in my life, and figure out my career with the information that I had, and know that I can always adjust and go forward. But when you let go of those timelines, a lot of the pressure and the stress come off. And I'm not saying not to ignore real priorities and real stressors of providing for your family or supporting yourself. But, especially as women, and obviously I work with women, so I deal with this a lot and support my clients through this. We often say, oh, by the time I'm, 35, or by the time I'm 40 or 25, or whatever the case may be, I need to be at X spot in my career. I need to be at X salary. I need to be at this title. And it may not happen. And then you put so much pressure on yourself, and then you get locked in to that type of expectation that you don't even see anything else. And you don't give yourself permission to be successful in different ways. So those are the main things I wanted to chat with you about. I want to make sure that we leave time for questions and conversation. There's a lot we could talk about in terms of networking, exploration, gaining clarity, career pivots. So happy to answer questions when anyone's ready. Hi, Melody. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Now I can hear you.
Better now?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes. I knew that I was going to be in for a treat. So, as we talked recently, I'm an early childhood educator by profession. And so I chuckled just a little bit when you said, don't start with strangers. The first thing I thought about I said, well, you know what? I tell children don't talk to strangers. And here you are telling adults, don't start with strangers. But I said,
That's true.
wow,
Well,
this is awesome. But in the
Full
midst
circle then, right? Full
of
circle.
circle, never talk to strangers. 2 or 22, don't talk to strangers.
Yeah. You can eventually as you progress in age, but you need to do it strategically and thoughtfully.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. So don't talk to strangers. I love it. I love it. I do have a few questions, but I just
Please.
want to go over just some of the general questions while we wait for others to begin to add in. Again, everybody, thank you for those who are doing the replay. Please make sure that you put in the comment, I'm here or I'm back. But for everyone else, we have had the pleasure thus far of listening to Andrea talk with us about her experiences. So for you, those of you who are tuning in, thank you and welcome to the Corona Days Professional Development Group, where the purpose of this organization is to provide professional access and representation of people of color from people of all walks of life, LGBTQIA community, and other marginalized groups in all industries and employment places. Listen, all industries. As I was sharing, I work primarily with early childhood education. And
Mm.
there's misrepresentation and representation that's needed across all industries. So, here, if you don't mind, I have a few questions. One, because CDPD enables people to recognize the power they hold in their hands, also their natural gifts, resources, and passion, which helps them to be motivated or motivate others and walk with infinite possibilities. So there was
Mm.
one thing that you pulled out and stated, and I just want to know from you. You talked about redefining success for yourself.
Mm.
Could you tell us your actual definition of success? This is the black and white
Ooh,
belief.
that's a big question. um, Quick background before I guess I try to answer that question. A really important piece of my story is I'm a first generation child. So my parents immigrated from the Caribbean. And anyone watching who is a first generation or the first in their family to go to college or to do anything, any first, there's a lot of pressure, right? Because you're the first one doing, there's a lot of expectation. So like I feel like from birth it was like there was no other choice. I was going to go to college, I was going to get a degree, and that would open up opportunity, right? And so that was a huge part of my identity growing up, of that definition of success. So I had to undo all of that as I started to pursue that path, and it wasn't turning out the way that I expected. And so a lot of my definition now, I suppose, of success is a lot of what you just said as Corona Days' mission is owning who you are, truly, your gifts, your talents, your experiences, and not minimizing that at all. Because I will say, me being a coach and connecting with others, guiding them through change, being supportive, being that resource has always been who I am and been my passion and been my area of expertise since I was a child. And I push that down because I didn't have an example of what success looked like in that area. I didn't know coaching existed. Honestly, all through college, I know I'm ashamed to say that, but I didn't know that was an option for me. So finding coaching for me was literally an epiphany. It was like, oh my gosh, this is what I was always meant to do. So really redefining success is understanding who you are and finding a path for yourself that you feel excited about and secure about, and it fits your definition of how you want it to support your life.
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with what you said and understanding exactly where you're coming from with being a first generation person, because you are often a pioneer. Sometimes you have
Yeah.
to find a way or make one. It's either one, but in defining of success for yourself, that is very important. Because I say for me that success is the accomplishment of worthy goals. So whatever I feel worthy to myself, if I achieve that, depending on where I'm at and how I'm looking at that full spectrum look, it is finding that worthy goal and accomplishing that, regardless if I'm finding a way or making one.
Yes.
Pioneer, you have to go and You have your steps along the way. So
100%.
I got another question. You ready?
Okay, go for it.
So you also stated about networking. Can you
Yes.
please give me just your definition of networking for the 18-year-old or the novice or the person who's enrolled in school
Yeah,
that doesn't understand what networking is?
absolutely. It's honestly having a conversation with another person to gain insight or value, and also to provide insight and value. So the good news is about networking is you do this all day, every day. You have conversations with people. You know, the definition that I talk about in a more structured way, or that you see on LinkedIn or other professional platforms, seems really intimidating, because it is, like I mentioned, reaching out to someone. Often it is someone you don't know, and building that relationship. You hear that phrase a lot: build the relationship and then provide value, and then you can ask for a job, or then you can ask for the referral, or then you can ask for the favor. 100% that's true. But the core of networking is absolutely having a conversation for insight and value on both sides.
Okay. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm
You got
ready.
I was taking notes.
Okay, I see that. I love it.
So one thing that I like, and as I said, just having the opportunity to meet you is also a benefit of being a part of CDPD, is that we are getting to network within our own community, those who may be unemployed or underrepresented, but in the midst of just getting that worthiness, that self, achieving your success. So back to networking. What is your 3C method? How can we make networking fun for somebody who's just coming out here?
Yeah, and I should have had this pulled up, so I do not, and I'm sorry. But um, essentially, the 3C method is a lot of what I just mentioned. Is one, starting with your circle. So everyone has an immediate most everyone has an immediate circle of friends, family. What the, I guess, professional term you hear is called warm contacts. Warm meaning you have a built-in relationship with that person. So that's what I meant when I said start with who you know. Don't talk to strangers yet. You can, and you absolutely can, but start with your circle. Absolutely, because again, it takes out the intimidation factor, especially for the women that I work with, the population I work with, recent graduates, coming out of college, young professionals. And for anyone, if you're a seasoned career professional, if you're a career changer, often talking about yourself or talking to someone else about what you want to do or what you have done is very intimidating. But the more that you see that networking is a conversation, and again, asking questions, exchanging value, gaining insight, it takes away that fear factor, if you will. Anyone who's a 90s child, that was a show, if you remember Fear Factor. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I just thought of that when I said that term. Yeah. I said my age. I'm 37. I'm proud of it. I'm a 90s child. So, well, 83. So was a kid in the 90s. Anywho, I digress. So start with your circle. Start with your warm contacts. Secondly, um, the pandemic has actually, I think, really opened up a lot more opportunity for networking that otherwise wouldn't have been there. So LinkedIn, Facebook, there's a lot of different communities you can go in. Commenting, so that's the second C. Commenting on people's content is a fantastic way to network passively until you get really comfortable. I don't want you to stay passive and keep commenting. I want you to move into active networking and reach out to people. But it's a great way to get your name out there, share your insight, share your perspective about your industry, and make a thoughtful comment. So rather than just clicking like on someone's post, think about what you want to share about that topic and make a thoughtful comment. It's a great way to get yourself introduced passively to somebody that you want to talk to, because they'll notice that I produce content every single day and I recognize names of people because I'm on LinkedIn every single day. So if that person reaches out to me, I already feel like I have some repertoire with them. I already have some relationship with them. So that's a fantastic way. And then the third C is compliment. So much like the commenting, everyone loves a good compliment, right? So again, if you're even at an in-person, as the world starts to open up, I know for me personally as a woman, I love to dress up and do things. So I usually walk up to a person and say like, hey, I love your suits, right? Those shoes are awesome. Or like, whatever the case may be, and pay them a compliment. It's equally probably hard for them or scary for them to be there. So paying a compliment, you break the ice and you can start a conversation. You can also do that virtually networking. Oftentimes, if you're at a virtual networking event, there's going to be an opportunity to introduce yourself or share a comment in the chat box. Ask someone where they're from. If they say where you're from and someone else says, oh, I'm from that same area, give them a shout out like, hey, Melody, like I'm actually from your town too. Like, great to meet you. So those are 3 really easy ways.
I love it. I love the idea of that's making networking fun. So I'm just going to go into about a few questions. But anybody else that's out in the audience, please feel free to post your question. And I know Andrea will answer them in the midst of this. Before we end, she's going to tell you how to get in contact with her. And you definitely should follow her in all spaces. And if you are a woman and you're starting out in your career, I want to recommend personally that you reach out to her too.
Oh, thank you.
So everybody, you are still tuned in to CDPD. Again, if you're watching now, just drop a hi. And if you are coming back to watch the replay, still say hello to all of us now. We're sick because we're going to come back and you never know. She may actually just reach out to you. 3 C's, remember? She's in your
And you can reach out to me. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to connect with me.
Yes. Okay. So CDPD's mission is to increase marginalized and BIPOC groups' access to employment opportunities and representation in the workplace by providing our members with free training, mentorship, and other resources, i.e., you listen to Andrea, that's the reason. Replay, go back and write down the notes. And then like, comment, and share to your other friends. Okay, but back to it. So CDPD was created in response to record unemployment and underemployment rates stemming from COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. I'll leave that right there.
Yeah.
So now I read CDPD's mission and we talked about everything that you shared. Was there a time that you ever felt marginalized in the workplace?
A few times, yes. I worked in healthcare, and I will say overall, I have to just preface, I had an amazing career in healthcare at the organization that I worked at. So anybody who is watching this who knows me or knows where I worked at that time, I just wanted to say that. And let me think about this for a second. So I was also an HR professional, so I'm choosing my words wisely here. But
right.
Yes, I can't hide the fact I'm a woman and a minority woman at that, right? And so in any industry right now, unfortunately, there are still a lot of hurdles for people of color, women of color, different walks of life, whether who you love, what you look like, how you dress, the way you sound. And we know as a society, there's a hell of a lot of work, I hope that wasn't bad to say, that has to be done to move past those barriers. So yes, there was times in my career, throughout my career, that I was treated not overtly differently. It was always very subtle, I have to say. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate for me, but I have to say, I think it was fortunate that it wasn't very blatant and in my face. I could deal with it. I definitely have been in a toxic work environment where it was not tolerable, and it, mentally and emotionally took a huge toll on my performance at the job and my personal life. So yes, there has been times, especially as a woman, I looked young. I'm not bragging. I'm saying I look younger than I am. And so often working with a lot of physicians, a lot of doctors, a lot of, white corporate men, they didn't always take me seriously. And I had to really establish myself. And that, I'll be very transparent, that meant dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, presenting a certain way, so I could be taken seriously in my career. I don't think that's the right way that has to be done, but that definitely is something that I did. So I'll give you a perfect example. The way I'm dressed right now, a lower cut top, I never would have worn, my big earrings, I naturally have really curly hair. I would not have presented this way when I was working in a corporate position, especially in healthcare. Very conservative colors, hair very, pulled back, no big earrings. So yes, that's definitely been an experience.
Wow. Those are some good points and some things to think about. Those good points.
And
you said it.
Listen, and I hate to say that, and I never want people to feel like they can't be who they want to be or who they are. Unfortunately, this is how things are currently. They are starting to change, but we know change is slow. People are scared of what they don't understand. So if there's a way for you to help somebody understand in a way that's meeting them halfway and you can open a conversation, that is my personal stance. I have educated a lot of friends, a lot of coworkers, a lot of other people in my life about perceptions of what they think I am and who I am. And so I feel that is my responsibility as well, of being a woman of color, that it's my responsibility to educate in the way that I know how. I am not trying to speak for other walks of life, other people, other marginalized individuals. I definitely try and share from my own personal experience to help educate other people.
I love it. Okay, so then I have to ask you this.
Please.
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh my God, I would write a whole book for her. I would write a whole book.
So you did. Wait a minute. Did you just say that you would have a book out in 2023?
No, I was saying I would write an entire book for my 20-year-old self. 100%. No, I have no plans to write a book. No one asked me to write a book. I'm not writing a book.
I was just throwing it out there.
That's fair. It was actually the 5 things I shared during my conversation with the audience, and I'll definitely repeat them now. Was becoming an expert in yourself. Especially, again, working with women, we compare all the time to other women and what they're doing, what they're not doing, and we're more curious about them. And that just becomes with, we're human, like we're all curious about other people, but really become an expert in yourself. Like we were talking about, do the work, take the time, to know who you are, your skills, your strengths, your experiences, what you're bringing to the table, because you'll be a much more competitive candidate. If you want to go into a full-time job or if you want to start your own business, knowing who you are and what you bring is only going to benefit you regardless of what you want to do. Networking, network. Can't say that enough. Knowing how to mentally and emotionally handle change in your career. Like I mentioned earlier, there's always going to be change, whether the change is given to you, like a global pandemic, or you choose to change your path. Knowing how you handle change and how you can support yourself is hugely important as you go through your career. Did not know that. One thing I'm definitely telling myself, trust yourself is the other one. We often second guess the things that we really are good at and want to do. And as I shared, I didn't trust my own expertise. I didn't trust that what I wanted to do. And I spent a lot of time, gained a lot of experience. I spent a lot of time not doing the thing I wanted to do, which was coaching, and now I'm blessed to do it. And the 5th thing I would tell myself is let go of all and any expectations and timelines of what you want to do, when you think you should do it, where you think you should be, because you're going to change your mind and things are going to happen, and it's going to throw off the timeline that you have, and then you're going to set yourself up for hurt, and you don't want that. Everything really is fluid. Like I said, if I had told my 18-year-old self that at 35 years old, I would start a career coaching business in the middle of my career and leave a secure position, I would have laughed at her. I trusted myself, and God bless them, my family, my friends, all were like, girl, you're crazy. Like, you're crazy to do this. You're crazy to start a business right now. And I'm like, I'm trusting myself. This is really what is meant for me to do. And it's really worked out. So those are the 5 things I would tell myself. And then I would tell everybody to really know about their career.
Oh, it has really worked out in your favor. And you have been such a blessing to other people. I'm so excited for you. And I'm so grateful that you came and shared with us on today. You are just doing it out. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm grateful for women like you and Danette for creating a community like this and giving women like me a space to share and support other people and lift them up and let people know, like, you guys, you can do, seriously, I sound like an after school special, but you really can do things. And the more that I'm able to help other people do that and see an example of different types of success, then I've served my purpose.
It is awesome and beautiful. And I'm so glad, like I said, girl, I was taking I got my own notes.
I see that.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And I definitely have some things that I'm taking away. So before we go away, I just have one more question. What would you like to leave with us? Like, what do you want us to take away from your time here?
Oh my gosh. I think really don't let other people's expectations stop you from pursuing the things that you really want to do, because there's always going to be opinions, remember, they're opinions about what you should do with your career and what your success should look like. But remember, that's shitting on you, and you don't need people to shit on you. So, so really, like I said, this has been a lot of 14 years of a career and a lot of work on myself professionally and personally to come to that realization. And I would not trade my experience for anything, but that was a theme for sure, is don't let anyone else's opinion dictate your success.
Oh, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. And just to make sure we have a clear understanding, for all others, you have to tap into CDPD.
Yes.
Tap in. If you are a person who wants and needs resources or other people to connect with that will understand your story, help you get it out, help you connect, then listen. On today, you had a wonderful person in the name of Andrea, who's available here in CDPD along on LinkedIn to find her. And if you go to her information, let me be quiet. I'm just so excited about you being here, Andrea. Tell us how.
No, I was just, LinkedIn is perfect. Yes. No, I am on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every single day. My website is on there. Please don't be shy to connect with me. Practice that networking message. Now I'm no longer a stranger, so you can reach out. And along the lines of the mission with CDPD, I do a lot of complimentary content. So if you're not ready to invest in a coach or you're not there yet, you don't have to do that yet. I'm here when you're ready. And in the meantime, find me on LinkedIn. I push out content every single day about networking, career pivots, a lot of other career content. I have videos. I'm on YouTube. My YouTube channel is also linked on my LinkedIn page. So I have got lots of freebies on my website of career resources. So please reach out, absorb all of my content, use it for your benefit, and reach out to me if I can support you further.
Oh, it has been an awesome and a wonderful time. I thank you so much. I am grateful for the opportunity to connect and thankful for the founder and that of the person of Miss Danette.
Yeah. Yes.
Listen, Miss Danette, we hope that you are still in the building because you have made a wonderful choice in helping others, and how you're helping others is not just helping us, but allowing us to just do like that rock thrown in the river, just continue to have a wave. And so I am so thankful for that. Again, everybody, you have been listening to CDPD. You can find CDPD on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, wherever you might see Danette Edwards. CDPD is right there and is the building. So thank you, Andrea, for this time that you have spent with us. I am going to see if Miss Danette, the founder of Corona Days Professional Development, is available. Just to tell her thank you so much for this space and the opportunity to meet you.
Thank you.
Hey, I didn't need to come back on. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you, Melody. I didn't need to come back on. You guys did excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Danette has been a blessed connection in my network, and thank you for the opportunity to share my story. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for coming out. Thank you. So guys, this was Andrea Jacob Masek. And again, if you found any value in this presentation, You don't have to tag anybody in it. Just share it. Share it on your own social media, right? Just share it. If you catch it on a replay, let us know you're catching it on a replay. You know, I appreciate all of you. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Thank you.
All right.